This is my first winter after completing the 30-day hair detox and kind of wearing mostly wash and goes. And I was going to record a video about, my winter hair care and winter routine. But then I came across a video on Instagram by Black Girl Curls where they kind of do a fact versus fiction on winter hair care. So I thought it'd be more fun to react to that video and just kind of share what my experience was before the 30-day hair detox and kind of what my experience is after going through the 30-day hair detox. So let's get into it.
Let's start by talking about some of the things. I looked at a number of different lists because I do my research before I come here and talk to y'all. I went and checked out on the internet what are people saying about winter hair care. What were the tips that were the same from list to list? So let's start with number one. I'm not going to count backwards. I'm going to count up. So the first thing that people are saying that you need to do for your winter hair care, it's pretty consistent across. I looked at least 5 different lists, multiple sites. Also looked at some blogs and some blogs of brands. So the number one thing that everybody says you need to do for winter hair care is to deep condition every single week.
Okay, so deep conditioning every single week. Before the 30-day hair detox, I definitely thought that was a thing. Last year, one winter ago, I was actually washing my hair once a week and I was actually deep conditioning every time. And then before last winter, I was not washing my hair every week. I was probably washing my hair once every 2 weeks. And even then, in the wintertime, I would deep conditioner. So that's something I definitely thought was a fact.
That is fiction. That is not a fact. You do not have to deep condition every week. As we share in our book, Wash Your Damn Hair, deep conditioning is a treatment-based thing that you do for your hair. There has to be some type of challenge that you're experiencing with your hair. Be it your hair feels not necessarily brittle, but maybe you've experienced some breakage. You're having some moisture issues. There are a number of things that I can't really get into here because then we have to then describe what does that look like. And actually, let me rewind. Not in Wash Your Damn Hair. This is where Sesame Curls comes into play. So Sesame Curls actually will get you through understanding what a rinse out conditioner, what a deep conditioner, what is the purpose of a deep conditioner, how you will go about using it. But first we have to explore what the challenges are with your hair. If you are unsure of what those challenges are, this is where the Sesame Curl Society, which is a community that we created inside of Sesame Curls that you can join after you subscribed to Sesame Curls, where you can ask questions about your deep conditioning routine. But deep conditioning is not something you have to do every single week. I don't even deep condition every single week, and I have been color treated since 2017, and I have not been deep conditioning. My conditioners are enough, and the treatments that I have to use because I am color treated are enough. I don't necessarily need to use a deep conditioner every single week.
Okay, so in terms of deep conditioning as a treatment, I'm deep conditioning now in the wintertime when I am not wearing a wash and go. I did a perm rod set. I did a magnetic roller set. I played around with that hair paint color. And before I went into all of those, I went ahead and did a deep conditioner. I do have moisture issues. That's why I use Olaplex. That's why I have to restyle more frequently. I have moisture issues because apparently my cuticle is damaged due to henna. So I do have moisture issues. So when I am going to go longer than I normally would go in my wash and go, or just kind of step out of the norm of wash and go styling, I do reach for a deep conditioner.
In fact, a number of naturals who have been working with us, hold your questions to the end, please, friends, because I won't be able to see them or answer them. A number of naturals who have joined us, who have, followed our hair care advice, which is based and rooted in simple cosmetology foundation. They stopped deep conditioning and their hair got better. And when I say better, the hair behaved better. They noticed more definition. There was ease in doing their hair. there was, when I say better, it's like I'm doing the deep conditioner to make my hair better, but my hair is better without the deep conditioner. So it's not necessary to deep condition every single week, as the internet experts like to say. So that is not true. That is fiction. That is false. You do not have to deep condition every single week.
So my hair, after I stopped deep conditioning, started behaving better in wash and goes. And I think that's just because I got into the routine of regularly cleansing. You know, the buildup was starting to go away. These botanical gels drawing in the moisture. So I do agree that the condition of my hair improved when I stopped deep conditioning on the regular. Like I said, I do deep condition sometimes, and for me, it's mostly based on my styling choices. But yes, I agree. I don't deep condition every week anymore, and the condition of my hair has improved.
Now, number 2 thing that I seen that was pretty consistent across lists is that you need to use heavy oils and butters to help seal in the water because it is so dry in the atmosphere.
This one about using the heavy butters and oils to seal in moisture, I definitely believed in that last year. I definitely started using heavier products. And for me, the reason I used to do that was honestly because that's what I do for my skincare too. If I don't use heavier butters on my hands in the wintertime that I'm constantly washing and it's just drier in the air, they start to get cracked and damaged. So I thought that also translated to my hair care. But I'm going to let her finish and then let y'all know how that translated to after the 30-day hair detox.
That depends on where you live. Dryness is relative to where you live and what is happening with the climate at the time. Let's start there. Now, the other thing is that oil and butter is not going to seal in the water that's in your hair, because the water that your hair absorbs is associated with the cleansing and the conditioning and the styling of your hair, which we call over here the wash hour process. You do this on a regular, your hair will be like, giving. It'll be giving. The hair will be giving in that respect. And so that is something that I saw that was consistent across lists. Oh, the next one. Oh, so it's false. It is fiction that you need to use oils and butters on a regular basis to help seal in the water so that you can keep the atmosphere. Somehow they figure some of this stuff out, but it's like they know part of a thing and then the rest of it just is like, let me freestyle it. And then it's not right. It's not correct. It's not true. So it is false. It is not a fact. It is fiction. And you do not need to use heavy oils and butters on your hair to seal in the water because it's drier in the winter. Again, winter looks different for all of us. And some of us live in places that are very cold. Cold doesn't necessarily mean that the atmosphere is dry either. Because there are days in Chicago where it is snow and it is dry. There are days that is in Chicago, there's snow and it is very moist. It just depends on what is happening with the humidity outside. And so that is something you can look up, when you look up your weather, but don't get too deep into it. That has nothing to do with moisture. Moisture is acquired. Your hair absorbs water when it is cleansed regularly with a shampoo that contains surfactants. When you use conditioner to come behind, to help smooth down that cuticle, help seal in the water, and then when you style your hair, and then over the amount of days, whatever days that is for you, the water begins to evaporate, and we do that process again within 7 to 10 days. That's what we suggest. Again, it's going to depend on your specific lifestyle, and this is something that we touch on and get deeper into inside of the See Some Curls.
So my experience, even though the climate outside is true, on some days is more moist or more dry, indoors, I live in New Jersey. In New Jersey, it is cold in the wintertime. And even though it's true, like some days, like it's mostly dry outside, but there's some days where it's snowing and it's moist. But where am I when it's snowing and it's moist? I'm indoors in the heat. And just for me, in my experience, this heat is drying. It's drying to my skin. It's drying to everything. I spend way more time indoors under these forced air heating systems, and everything, my skin, my hair, I just feel like it is more dry. So I used to reach for heavy butters and oils. I don't reach for heavy butters and oils anymore. What I do instead is I just find myself going to reset my hair more often, because guess what? Where does moisture come from? Water. So where's the water at? In my shower. So I find myself co-washing a little more often than I did in the summertime. So I'm resetting my hair like every 2 days now in the wintertime. In the summertime, I didn't go that long either, maybe like 3-4 days max. So I reset my hair with a co-wash like every 2 days, and then once a week I am shampooing. So that has been the difference for me. But like I said, my experience is, even though the atmosphere outside, the humidity may fluctuate, inside for me, where I'm spending most of my time, it is dry. Sahara Desert. It is dry, hot and dry. It's where I spend most of my days. So that's my experience with, the climate and how it impacts my hair.
Next up, protective styling. You should protective style and tuck your ends away. You know what y'all really need to do with those ends? We need to cut them. Those ends really need shears. It's not tucking them that's going to protect them. It's cutting them that is going to protect those ends. The protecting of ends has nothing to do with tucking them away in what we call protective hairstyles, what we like to call alternative hairstyles, because protective hairstyles is a style, any style that allows you to care for your hair. That could be a wash and go. That could be a twist down. That could be a braid out. Okay, you don't have to get box braids for the winter to protect your hair. Okay, you don't have to do that. Protective styles are not necessary. So that means that protective styling as a form of winter care is not true. It is fiction. There's no fact to that. Okay. Protective styling, i.e. alternative styling, works best on hair that is well cared for. You need to go into the protective styling with amazing hair. Not go into it with poor hair, but amazing hair to come out of it still amazing. Well, of course, we got to do a little TLC to it. But nevertheless, protective styling will not protect your hair.
So the protective styling thing, I personally haven't done a protective style since the summer of 2020. But in general, I guess I never really understood the protective styling in the wintertime, because for me, even like growing up and stuff, most of my protective styling, or if I was going to get braids or anything, was in the summertime, because that's when I was more likely to be on vacation, summer camp, in the pool all the time, or getting wet. So that's when my hair was a waste that I didn't have to constantly, worry about restyling it. So for me, the idea of, the winter being protective style season wasn't ever really my experience. But I agree. I guess right now I am doing a protective style because my hair is always being cared for. It's always accessible. I'm getting my cuts. In terms of my ends are healthier than they have been. And that's just from, maintaining a routine of washing. For me, honestly, the longest I go without washing is like 5 days. That's the longest I can push my hair without getting some kind of water in it. So that has been working for me in maintaining healthy ends. So I agree that the notion of protective styling, my experience has been like, yes, constantly taking care of my hair the way it needs to be taken care of has been protective for my ends. So that's my experience with protective styling and winter hair care, etc.
Okay, another thing that seems to be very prevalent across these lists. Hot oil treatments and pre-pooing.
Okay, so I haven't done a hot oil treatment in a really long time, but last winter I definitely was pre-pooing. I was slapping that fractionated coconut oil all over my hair. It was a good time. I honestly had no complaints. I haven't done it since I got through the other side of the 30-day hair detox. I haven't really pre-pooed my own hair. What I do miss about pre-pooing is just being able to detangle without being like sopping wet in the shower. but I have gotten over that. And I know people say like you can put conditioner on your hair and just kind of work through it with the gels, but it's just something about slapping a pre-poo or a conditioner on top of all this gel that makes it. I can't. My spirit won't allow me to do it. So I'm a reformed pre-pooer as part of natural hair care. I definitely used to do it last year. I definitely enjoyed it. That fractionated coconut oil would help me get through my hair, but I also used different products at that time, and I just feel like that with these, gels and stuff in my hair would not be a good time. But I do pre-poo my boys' hair because I'm not trying to wrestle with them in the shower. It's easier for me to throw them on the counter, slap a pre-poo in their hair, and detangle them before we get started for wash day. So that's where I'm at right now with pre-poos.
Fiction. Fiction. That's not a fact. You do not need to do a hot oil treatment on your hair to keep it protected for winter hair care. Okay? That's great advice, Elise. Get the braids if you want them, not to protect. You still need to care for your hair in the braids. And so let me get back to where I was. So hot oil treatments. Just fiction, period. I don't really know any hairstylists in current 2021 on our way into 2022 who offers hot oil treatments. It sounds very throwback, like that's not even 90s. That's like before the 90s. And if you know anything about me, I absolutely love the 90s. I always quote 90s songs to relate it to whatever I'm talking about. And in the 90s, they weren't even doing hot oil treatments. So hot oil treatments are not going to put your hair in a better position for winter. Okay. So here I'll share all these things that they say on these lists. And I'm looking at a list right now because this one's pretty lengthy. This is another one. A lot of you believe that the wash and go cannot be worn through the winter.
This one is funny because not only did I think I would never think to do a wash and go in the winter, I almost never did a wash and go. Before I started this 30-day hair detox stuff, I've probably done a wash and go 5 times in more than that. I would say 10 times over 10 years, I've actually tried the wash and go. I didn't think the wash and go was for my hair anyway, and I definitely 100% positively was not going to try it in the wintertime. If I was going to try a wash and go any time of the year, it was definitely when it was nice enough outside not to have a coat on.
Let me tell y'all, that is fiction. Those are not facts. It is not true. You can wear a wash and go any time of the year. What you're going to need, though, to wear said wash and go is, one, you're going to need the application and technique to first do a wash and go that will make it to the hair dryer. Oh yeah, y'all need hooded hair dryers too. You need a hooded hair dryer to dry the wash and go. And I know the wash and go, it's a misnomer of a name. You don't wash and then go. It's a lie. That's also a lie. It should be called a wash and set, a hydrate and define. That's what you're going to do. You're going to hydrate your hair, you're going to cleanse it, condition it, and you're going to define it. Use a styling product to hold it, and you're going to sit under a dryer to mold it.
So after I got my application and technique and got myself a hooded dryer, I definitely do wear a wash and go. It is December. It's after Christmas. So it's after Christmas in New Jersey. We are in the wintertime. This is a wash and go that I set with my hooded dryer, and I am thriving. I'm good. So yes, a wash and go in the wintertime with the proper setting techniques and the hooded dryer. I'm here for it. It's my experience. It works. I'm good.
So they say you should any wet style for the summer or when the weather warms up, you shouldn't walk out of the house with wet hair because they will freeze and then break.
I have never heard that your hair can freeze and break in the wintertime. That is hilarious. I have never heard that. Okay. Number one, if it's cold enough that I'm scared about my hair freezing. Guess what I got on my hair? A hat. And guess what else I got on? A hood. So my hair is tucked away, and I'm not walking outside with my hair wet. If I'm really that concerned about it freezing and breaking, or if it's cold enough that I believe my hair could potentially freeze and break, guess who's not walking outside with wet hair? So that one for me was never ever a fact. I've never, this is actually the first time I heard it, and it's pretty hilarious.
That is also not true. Your hair is not going to freeze and then it's going to, my goodness. I mean, the apocalypse is just happening with natural hair if you read these lists. And I see why you guys are always so stressed out about your hair when you come to the salon. And I'm going to use I'm going to be more sympathetic to what you all are feeling about your hair, because these lists sound like the end of the world when it comes down to your hair, and it's really not that deep. You can wear a wash and go whenever you want. You just need proper application and technique, and it's something, again, inside of our See Some Crows visual library that we can help you with, learning how to actually apply product, style the hair, set it so that you get the results that you're looking for, so that you can master at least a hairstyle or two. Now, we are big wash and go wearers over here, mostly because that's what we have time to do in our busy lives, and we talk a lot more about lifestyle. We talk a lot more about lifestyle inside of See Some Crows in terms of choosing hairstyles that work out for your life. Wash and goes seem to work, because I actually did this wash and go. I started this wash and go. Let's see. I started with cleansing my hair at about 2:30. I just came from under the dryer about 10 minutes ago. I'm probably about 60% dry, which is why my hair is super flat right now, because I still need dry, and I'm very stiff because I need to finish drying it once we're all done talking here. So that is something that is not true. And let me see if there's anything else. They said, well, and this whole thing about drinking water. You should drink water because our body's made of 80% water. We have to keep our bodies hydrated. That has absolutely nothing to do with your hair. I don't care how much water y'all drink. That is not going to change the condition and shape of your hair if you don't cleanse your hair regularly. Condition, detangle, and style it on a routine. The water, the amount of water we drink, it has nothing to do with that. Okay. So I hope that now that we have situated this whole winter care thing, the only thing you need to do in the winter, the same thing you need to do in the summer, also the same thing you need to do in the spring, basically all 12 months of the year: cleanse, condition, style. That's it. Consistent. And another thing I want to share, because I know this is on some lists too, about changing out your hair products. You do not have to change your hair products because the climate has changed. I am literally using the same shampoo that I've been using since 2000 and how long have I been using? Let's say 2017. I have not changed course. Now, if I run out, that's a different story. But when I go re-up, I go back and get my shampoo again. So I am using the same shampoo. I'm using the same conditioner. And stylers come down to, what do I want for my finish? What do I want my hair to look like? So that is where I live with that.
Yep, so that's my experience here in the wintertime. I am cleansing, conditioning, and styling. Pretty much like I did I started this in the spring, because it was like late May, early June. June is when I went to go for my first salon visit, and I think I started like detox in May, so that's technically spring. This is so I did spring, summer, fall, and now we in winter. So this is like almost my fourth season. And the humidity does change how long it takes my hair to dry. And I do adjust my product applications a little bit for the humidity in the air, but like just cleanse, conditioning, and styling routinely has been keeping my hair in good shape. But as always, thank you for watching. GoPro, stop recording.